gonna intro us or what?
Welcome to The Gambler and the Guardian. This is our first episode. I am Nathan, also known as The Guardian, along with my brother.
I'm Tony, known as the Gambler.
Thank you to xnergy for sponsoring this podcast.
Here in The Gambler and the Guardian, man, we're going to cover a lot of cool topics, talk about a lot of subjects that is things that are not as easy for people to talk about, a lot of experiences and different things that we've been through in our lives. We're going to talk about becoming better human beings, becoming better men, becoming better figures in our communities and things of this nature. You know, thought-provoking content, not too much on the side of controversy or anything of that nature. Positive influence and development, things like that. Then this is the right place for you guys, and thank you for coming.
Yeah, just to kind of put a little light on some of the stuff that Nate's talking about. You know, we both come from a place of personal responsibility. So a lot of what we're going to be looking at with some of our content that we bring on, videos or articles, things that are sharing out there that we just came across. Now we can put it on a show and see if listeners like to take part in it and bring something new to them.
Yeah, basically we're creating a room, you know, for other people that are like us, people that share similar interests as us, to come basically sit down with us in our room and have sharing our open dialogue that we have. And we encourage strongly anybody that's viewing to leave comments, questions, anything of that nature. It's all welcome.
We're going to be coming from a, place of we're different people. Like, you could look at Nate and he looks different than I look, has totally different perspectives in some things. And really our overall goal is to try to bring people together to understand that we all have differences, and those could be supported and even, applauded in a lot of ways.
And even more so to highlight the things that we all share in common that make us all the same race, which is human. So
yeah, the human race. Nate, I think we should let them know about like how we came together. When
I was a kid, I was living in the city of San Francisco with my dad. My mom died when I was 18 months old, right? So I lived with my dad, who's an ex-Green Beret, ex-CIA, ex-Secret Service as well. And he's all I knew for a parent. We lived across the street from my school. I got into a situation where this kid, he was in 5th grade when I was in the 3rd. He was bullying me. He was, back in the day, like when we were kids.
Bullying back then was kind of different than bullying now.
Man. Yeah, back in the day, like, bullies were like hitting you and pushing you and stuff like that. Well, he had never punched me or anything, but, he was doing a lot of shoving.
So he was bigger than you're a big dude.
He was bigger than me. I had a growth spurt in high school. Like, I wasn't always real tall, but I was a little kid. I was in 3rd grade. I was like 9 years old. Okay. And he was in the 5th grade. Dude kept pushing me, messing with me. I had never hit anybody before in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been training martial arts since I was 6.
So you knew how to defend yourself and stuff?
I don't know. I don't know if I knew how to defend myself or not, because I never had to. All I knew was I had been training.
Okay.
So,
gotcha. Yeah.
But I was a nice kid. Like, I was really like a nice guy at heart. Like, I didn't have a bone in my body that wanted to hit somebody. One day I went to school. We were outside, and the kid shoved me one day. I think it triggered something within me, man, because as soon as he shoved me, I came in and hit him with a solid right. First time I ever hit anybody, solid right. Goes down, boom. Hits his head on the ground, head bounces like a quarter. They called the police. The school called the police. They charged me with assault and battery. I got expelled from San Francisco Unified School District.
In the 4th grade?
In the 3rd.
You were in the 3rd grade. He was in the 5th grade.
Correct. So now I had to leave. We had to leave the city. Like, my family, my grandparents came from Georgia in 1945 and had all 5 of their kids there. Their whole life was there. Everybody was there. And now, because of this, we have to leave the city. Me and my dad and my brother, we got to leave.
Whoa.
And now that's how we ended up in South City.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Dang, I never knew that.
I went back in my life, like, I haven't always done the right thing in my life. I've done things to people that I should not have, and I don't feel good about it. And at any point, if I remember something like that and I feel like it's like worth reaching out, like I reach out, I look back and reach out to those people to tell them I'm sorry, to apologize to them for hurting them or doing whatever I did.
Is that how like this guy, like what's up with him?
Well, I went back to look for him, and I went all through social media to find the guy. Couldn't find him anywhere.
Did you know his name?
Yeah, I know his name very well.
Oh, okay.
I never forgot his name.
Oh, okay. So it
And-
was implanted in you. But you haven't seen him since that day.
Not physically, not in person, but I know where he is. And basically, like after I looked for him on social media, couldn't find him anywhere. So like before I looked into any resources for finding this person, which, you know, most likely wasn't going to do, I went and Googled him.
Okay.
And when I Googled him, I went and found out that he had gotten himself into a situation. John, can you pull up this picture? This is the guy right here. His name is Frederick Dozier. This is my third grade bully. He ended up being the Mission District rapist in San Francisco. I guess I don't know if it was while he was doing it, prior to, whatever. Well, it was prior to because it was former. He was a former cafeteria worker, and he worked as a part-time nutrition services worker with the San Francisco Unified School District. So this guy was working around kids.
Well, so he was like a lunch lady.
Anthony, that's something that I would say it's a school cafeteria worker. Like when we were kids, it was only lunch ladies.
Yeah,
and we'll get into that. We'll get into that later. These differences and these verbiages and stuff. But yeah, at the end of the day, Frederick Dozier received 373 years in prison or something of this nature. He got like one of the craziest
373 years.
Yeah, one of the craziest sentences I've ever heard anybody get. Yeah, I know that guy. Not only do I know that guy, that's the first guy that I punched in the face. That's the first guy that I dropped down to the ground when I hit him with one hit. And he's also a person that caused me to have guilt in my life for many years because of the consequence that happened with hitting him.
Oh yeah, because they press charges on you.
They dropped the charges, but we had to leave the city, and this was my family's home, and like that was heavy. That was very hard on everyone. You know, when I found this out, it was the most liberating feeling.
Later on in life.
Yeah, like wow, like whew, like it was like something heavy that got a burden that got lifted off of me. Like
wow.
Yeah, it was liberating, man.
Well, that's
so
crazy.
shout out Frederick Dozier. That's the only good thing he probably ever did in his life.
Whoa.
Because if it wasn't for Frederick Dozier, Anthony and I never would have met.
Hey, okay, so that's what brought you to Sunshine Gardens in South City.
Correct.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, growing up, I lived in the same house, for 19 years with my mom, my dad, and my brother. And we lived walking distance, to our grammar school, which was Sunshine Gardens. And that's where Nate showed up. And, we became friends. He's, like you said, he was very likable. He was always laughing, having fun.
Listen, dude, listen. That's subjective right there. That's subjective, like being likable, right? Like, as you say that, you're the only person out of everyone that we went to school with in grade school that has stayed my friend from then all the way till now. And when I went there initially, I know you don't remember this because it didn't happen to you probably, but I got kicked out of Sunshine Gardens.
Yeah, I vaguely remember.
I got kicked out of Sunshine Gardens because people didn't like me.
Oh, really?
People treated me really badly.
I was pretty oblivious.
Because I was different. I was different. You see what I mean? I was different from everyone there. And I was the only person that was kind of like me there. And like people didn't like it. People didn't like me. And I got into a lot of fights because of it, with like for basic things like people saying your mother. Like that, yeah, man, when your mom dies, when you're 18 months old, bro, when you're a kid, like that will set you off anytime you will be triggered. It will set you off.
Oh, wow.
And that's what happened a lot. I got into a lot of fights because of that.
Whoa.
There's a lot of stuff, man. A lot of stuff. But we get into all that later.
Yeah. What I remember is when you showed up, my dad kind of coming to me and saying, you got a new kid showed up at your school, and I know his dad, Alvin, and his name's Nathan. You'll see him. You know, basically that's all he said. You know, I was just a kid doing my thing, you know, like I don't remember, like you have this memory that you remember all these specific things. For me, it's like all kind of a blur, and I have like little inkling moments of childhood in that stage. I don't really remember you getting kicked out too much, a little vague thing. But I know that you were at every school that I went to.
Yeah, but so what happened is I got kicked out of there, and I ended up going to Skyline Elementary in Daly City. And like I had never been, so I grew up in the Mission District in San Francisco, right? This is a Mexican district primarily at this time, right? There's really nobody else there. And when we moved to South City, I'm like, damn, all these white people, this is different. There's, you know, primarily white. You know, it was well integrated, you know, a bunch of different people, but primarily it's white. So this was real different to me. So when I got kicked out of there, I ended up going to Daly City.
And then it was all Asian.
All 90-something% Filipino.
Yeah.
And these people, man, woo. These guys, they spend a lot of their time roasting, bro. Like, all the way through life. Like, Filipinos are some of the funniest people, bro. Their sense of humor is off the chain, and they rode me, man. And I got into fights there, and I ended up getting kicked out of there, and they let me back into Sunshine Gardens to finish grade school. That's what happened. True story.
Whoa, my childhood was not like that. You know, it was very stable. Mom and dad worked. Dad was worked in construction. He was a cabinet maker in the city on 3rd Street in San Francisco, made in Jensen. And my mom, she taught cosmetology at Skyline College.
That's right.
You know?
That's right.
And she did that her whole, you know, career. For me, like growing up, it was like my mom doing kitchen Cosmo like a couple nights a week, having her friends come over and get their hair done, do that stuff. And, you know, my dad, passion that he had was hunting and fishing, you know. So I got to take part in a lot of those activities at a young age, you know, duck hunting, pheasant hunting, dove, even went deer hunting with him, and you know, it was a part of my dad killing a buck and, you know, doing that whole ritual of, you know, gutting it and cleaning it and then butchering and, you know, the whole process. Growing up as a kid, like I had a family ranch that was in the family. It's actually a California state landmark.
Wow.
Yeah, it's up in Pope Valley, which is in Napa County. And as a kid, it was like completely in the boonies, you know, like about 2 hours away from where we grew up. But the ranch itself became a state historic landmark because my great grandfather, he was very good with his hands, and he was like a folk artist, and he started making things. So he made like, you know, bird houses, and he took all the like bottle cap things and put them all together and started decorating his property up there. And he started hanging hubcaps because there used to be this curve in the road.
Yeah, I know the hubcap ranch.
Yeah.
I know the hubcap ranch.
So he started putting them up, and next thing you know, everybody's dropping them off. So
you could see it. You could see it, if I'm not mistaken, off the 29, right?
no, it's on Pope Valley Road. It's on Pope Valley Road.
It's off the 29 though?
Yeah, it's close in that area.
I know I've seen it before. I've driven by it several times.
It's right next to Butts Canyon Road. Every time I go by that, I think of you.
Yeah.
You know, one thing that's always been, you know, a thing for me is, you know, in our friendship, that, you know, we've always just looked at each other as human beings, you know, like, and that's just how we do it with pretty much everybody. But we do understand that there's differences in people and different groups. And like for you, like when I talk about you to someone that's close to me, and they're like, "Oh, who's this that you're doing?" And, well, how do you know him? Kind of thing. It's like, well, you know, from school and everything. And I said, like, if they didn't see a picture, I would describe you as, you know, he's a quarter Italian, a quarter Puerto Rican, a quarter Cherokee.
Hey.
Cuban?
It's Cuban, bud.
Cuban.
It's Cuban.
See, I've been
You
saying
don't ever
it
call
wrong
a
this
Cuban
whole
Puerto.
time.
You don't ever call a Cuban Puerto Rican. Shout out to my Boricuas. All right, I love Puerto Ricans, but they know what it is. We all know what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, so quarter Cuban
Yeah.
and a quarter black. When you look at him, he looks like a 6'7" black man. You know? So coming into this, we're going to talk a lot about race in our podcast. We're going to bring this stuff up and talk about different things. The first thing is where you're born is your nationality.
To put more of an emphasis on these words and how they're being used,
Yep.
and how some of them are actually being misused by definition, right?
Yeah.
And race being one of those words.
Yeah. Exactly. Why don't you speak a little bit more on that, Nate? Like you're very versed in this, you know, and I'm kind of learning, you know.
So race is the I don't know if you want to say the mother of any of the things that fall below it, right? So race, we're all a part of the same race, which is human.
Yeah.
We're all part of the human race. Race being used to describe bigotry is something that is used as a social construct that helps to attach emotion to the situation. Race is, again, something that every person that is born on the planet belongs to one, right? Which is the human race.
Yep.
Then you have your nationality, which is where you were born, right? Where you were born at, that is your nationality, right?
So I hear people say all the time, you know, what's your nationality? And they're like, oh, I'm Italian.
A good portion of people are not educated on the differences of this verbiage.
Yeah.
Where are you from? What is your nationality? Well, I'm American.
Yeah.
That's my nationality. Like I don't subscribe to being African American. I don't subscribe to being any other boom 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 American, because if you're born here, regardless to what your ethnicity is, this is your nationality. You are an American. Whatever the blood is that flows through your veins, that comprises all these different things that makes you who you are, this is your ethnicity.
Yeah.
You know, all these different nationalities or whatever it is that culminated, that comes together, that makes you what you are, this is your ethnicity.
To make it simple, nationality, the key word there is nation. What nation are you from?
Correct.
So someone that is an Italian who was Italian descent, so their ethnicity is Italian, but was born in Australia, would say, hey, what's your nationality? I'm Australian.
There's a lot of subtleties that are not paid attention to. Not every place is a nation. And if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong, but I thought America was a republic. So really, America is not wholly a nation either. At the end of the day, anyone who treats you differently because of race, ethnicity, or nationality falls under the category of a bigot. This is by definition.
Attachment to a belief, opinion, or faction and our particular prejudice against a person or people on the basis of their membership of a particular group.
Which is absolutely ironic to me. If you look at that definition now, here's the thing. You know, they say in science that the origin of man, it came from Africa. So if you look at it, if all humans' origin comes from Africa, then all human beings are African diaspora.
What's diaspora? What do you mean? Yeah.
Diaspora means essentially people that come from a place, that leave there, that are from there, they're diaspora from that place. So basically, if the origin of man comes from Africa, that would make every human being on the planet African diaspora. Boom. How about that shit?
Yeah.
Sorry. And the people that choose to be bigots, that are defined as racists, are those who choose to be willfully ignorant. Because it's out there. The word's out there. Like, everybody kind of knows, like, you know, civilization started over here, and like this is.
Yeah.
So it's like, denial is not a river in Egypt.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's what's going on here.
like, so racism,
Yes.
right? Like, we say that word racism, and that, to me, like, when I hear it, it's someone who is hating on another person because of their race, or being a bigot on another person because of their race.
Right. So, like, in my opinion, the isms, right? It's like a person is a bigot already. Like, he doesn't need to another subcategory of bigot to have an ism behind that is going to attach even more emotion to the wrong of the bigot's actions.
It's not a disease.
That is the issue.
Is what we're talking about
Right.
here.
Creating an ism. So it's like, okay, if somebody is discriminating against someone of the opposite sex, what does that make them? That makes them a sexist.
Yeah.
So you have a definition that defines a person that's taking this action, right? So in my opinion, to say an ism, it's creating a broader definition for all of the people that commit this thing. But like, I don't know how necessary is it. You know what I mean? Like, because every one of those people and how they do it and the reasons they do it are different.
It allows you to know that this person is a bigot by race. So racism, this, you know, it's like this guy isn't necessarily a sexist, right? To be like, he doesn't like women, but he also doesn't like black people.
Right, but it's like the truth of the matter is, it's like we're never gonna like change the minds of these people or like make them different people. So it's like, why are we like giving them
The extra kudos of having their own
giving them
ism.
it's extra attention? It's
Extra
like
attention.
yeah, it's like we already know what you
It
are.
sounds like what you're saying is that in common language and people, we do those things, attach these other things, but as a whole,
We're
it's
trying to-
actually creating more of a problem.
we're trying to create a rationality around it as a whole.
Yeah, instead of just like letting it be that what it is that's a bigot.
That's
know?
a bigot.
Yeah.
You hear I said that?
Yeah, I
Just
heard
like
that.
they say,
You,
just like they
popped
say all the
beat.
other words with the hard letters on them. Bigot.
Oh, whoa.
He's a bigot. And I'm going to say it like that because they're negative, bro. They're bigots, bro. Like, yeah, forget
Wow.
them. Forget them bigots.
You know, you sent me this video. Video of Lee Brown, and he's a Hopi man, which is, you know, a tribe.
Yeah.
And the Hopi people, and you spoke a little bit about the Hopi people. You know, maybe, hey, John, could you roll the clip on Lee Brown and we let it roll?
And at the beginning of this cycle of time, long ago, the Great Spirit came down and he made an appearance. He gathered the peoples of the earth together, they say, on an island that is now beneath the water. And he said to the human beings, he said, I'm going to send you to 4 directions, and over time I'm going to change you to 4 colors. But I'm going to give you some teachings, and you will call these the original teachings. And when you come back together with each other, you will share these so that you can live and have peace on earth, and a great civilization will come about. And he said, during this cycle of time, I'm going to give each of you 2 stone tablets. And he said, when I give you those stone tablets, don't cast them upon the ground. Because if any of the brothers and sisters of the 4 directions and the 4 colors cast their stone tablets on the ground, not only will the human beings have a hard time, but almost the earth itself would die. And so he gave us each a responsibility, and we call that the guardianship. And to the Indian people, the red people, he gave the guardianship of the earth. And we were to learn during this cycle of time the teachings of the earth and the plants that grow from the earth and the foods that you can eat and the herbs that are healing. So that when we came back together with the other brothers and sisters, we could share this knowledge with them, because something good was to happen on the earth. And to the south, he gave the yellow race of people the guardianship of the wind, and they were to learn about the sky and breathing and how to take that within ourselves for spiritual advancement. And they were to share that with us in this time. And to the west, where there's blackness of night, he gave the black race of people the guardianship of the water, and they were to learn the teachings of the water, which is the chief of the elements. It is the most humble and also the most powerful. When I went to the University of Washington and learned that it was a black man that invented blood plasma, it didn't surprise me because blood is water. And the elders already told me that black people would bring the teachings of water to humanity. And to the north, where there's white snow on this continent, he gave the white race of people the guardianship of the fire. And if you look at the center of many of the things they do, you will find the fire. In this light bulb, they say that is a white man's fire. If you look at the center of a car, you will find a spark. If you look at the center of the airplane, the train, you will find the fire. And the fire moves, also consumes. This is why it was the white brothers and sisters that began to move upon the face of the earth and reunite us as a human family. Because they had the guardianship of the fire, this was their responsibility.
That's why they call it the white man's fire. Do you understand, like, the purpose of the guardianships and like what they actually did and like how they shaped humanity to become what it is as of right now?
Yeah, so I'm relating this in some ways to The Last Airbender.
That's funny, man.
But okay, so on a real note, the Four Races graphic, shows.
Well, let's start with the West, right? Which because the West is where it started, which was in Africa. So the West is the black, the color of black, that has the guardianship of the water. Black man invented blood plasma. They had to learn to travel on the water for people to get everywhere else on the planet. To the East, the yellow color that represents the yellow people, which is the guardianship of the air. Learned how to use the air to their benefit, to benefit all of humanity for those who seek it. Then you have the red man to the south, which is the guardianship of the earth, who their guardianship was so they can learn the benefits of the planet and the things in the planet, what not to use, and how to take care of the earth itself and how the earth would take care of them because it is Mother Earth. Finally, again, to the north, the guardianship of the fire, the white color there, which is, their guardianship is to spread across the earth, which they did, to colonize the earth, right? So whether we like it or not, everyone, there's different types of civilizations all throughout the planet, but everyone is now civil to a certain degree. Yeah. And that to a certain degree, I think a good portion of their guardianship has been fulfilled. But when you see this is the medicine wheel. When you see it anywhere, it represents all of us as a human, as a human race. The link in the description will be down there for any of you guys that want to watch Lee Brown and hear about some of these other prophecies. I mean, I'm telling you right now, if you sit down and watch this stuff, you will definitely be taken back and amazed by some of these prophecies that have already been fulfilled. I mean, this stuff is amazing. Those videos are very old. Lee Brown's now elder, if he's even still around. I'm a spiritual person.
Yeah.
I understand that religion is necessary for a lot of people, but I myself, I feel like I have a direct connection to Creator. And, I encourage anybody that seeks spirituality to look into this. And it's something that you might feel akin to.
For me, hearing about the Hopi people, it literally gives me hope. Learning about this, it makes sense about having the guardianships and everybody going from Africa out to their respective places and then locking down their respective peace to serve the human race and Mother Earth, right? So that makes perfect sense to me. The different people and how they're and what they focus on, it seems like it makes sense. Just an example of, you talked about the yellow people. It's like most of our technology comes from, Asia.
Everybody's the same, bro. Look, how many animals do you know about that eat something and because of what they eat, it changes the pigmentation in their skin? Many of them. There's many of them. So it's safe to say, I could believe over time very easily how some dark people would go anywhere in the earth, and according to what they ate and according to, what their environment was, things change. You know what I mean?
Features change.
Yeah, features change. That's where we are today. But at the end of the day, the blood's all the same color and our origin is all the same. And guess what? When we die, we all go the same places.
Yeah.
No one it goes to there's no special heaven for you, special heaven for me, dude. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
You know.
Let's come together.
There's one last thing I would like to do here today. We have a sponsor. It's called xnergy Kava and Kratom Blend. There's a bottle for you there. It's plant-based, right? Plant-based. Let's start with that. It's made of kava and kratom. It is said to be the best tasting product of its kind and also some of the most effective. So its efficacy is excellent with this product. It is supposed to give you energy with focus without giving you jitters or anything like that.
I've had both kava and kratom before, but never together.
We should shake that one up and try it right here, right now.
All right, let's do it.
And yeah, so their tagline is focused precision performance. And I personally know the people that have developed this product, and they are light years ahead in terms of development of formulations of all different types of products. So if anybody's interested in this type of a product, you go www.drinkxnergy.com, and we will post the link in the description. And yeah, thank you to xnergy for sponsoring this podcast. We greatly appreciate you guys, and we appreciate you.
Smells good.
Does it?
Yeah.
We appreciate you guys for looking out for us. Thank you, xnergy.
Man, that's the best kava I've ever tasted.
There's a familiar smell to it. It smells maybe pineapple-y. I'm not certain, but
I'm smelling coconut pineapple kind of thing.
wow.
Kinda made my tongue a little numb. Lips.
That would be the kava. That's that kava effect. It tastes actually excellent for kava.
Yeah, because
And kratom, actually. Kratom tastes like dog water, okay?
How much dog water have you drank, bro?
More than you would ever want to know.
Oh, come on.
But I just want to say thank you, brother, for coming with me and starting this with me, man. There's like I could not have done this without you, and I want to thank everyone that is going to be watching us for your support. Thank you for spending your time out of your day to spend time with my brother and myself here at the Gambler and the Guardian, and we would like to say welcome to our family.
Yeah, right on. Thanks again, listeners. Nate, much love, bro. Till the next one,
Yep.
we out.
We out.